no altitude yet, but 100 meters out, you're seeing some bathymetry there to the south of Argus.
Just, we're getting a lot of questions here today that I've never seen before. Are there traditions, especially among regular members of the crew, and do we have favorite songs or sea shanties that we like to sing on the ship?
So we have had a number of musicians around our crew for a while. None of them are on board presently, but a few of them have together formed a band called Starboard Larboard, and they rewrite lyrics to songs so that they're about Nautilus and being on Nautilus. And for a while, a group of them were making a lot of instruments out of things they found around the ship, which was a hoot. I still periodically get demos from them, and they're awesome. One of our data engineers is a member of that esteemed band.
So let's chase the yellow there on our way down.
Okay, sure. Sounds good.
It's gonna be 090-ish.
Yeah.
I think it's directly behind Argus, Dan, which would make it...
Well, I'm looking at the steep part there to the...
Oh, you want the stuff
closest
that's
ring.
directly in
We want
front,
the
not the
cliff.
stuff that's behind.
Off to the right side of Argus, so 100-090 somewhere. I'll get you there.
Okay. 090I.
We want Herc uphill from Argus, so we come down there. We might as well do it while we're...
It's still 60 meters out.
A viewer is requesting a song about peduncles, so I will pass that along to that musical group. I know Andy also brought his guitar and has been known to create a parody song or two in his day, so we'll pass that along. I'm really still pushing for a rewrite of Delta Dawn to be about Delta Dan.
Head around, yeah, Roger.
Yeah. I pulled on you. It's not going to happen now. Sorry.
There, you're getting some returns in Herc now.
Yep.
Altitude 30 meters-ish.
Hey, now when it's convenient, can you zoom out so I can get a broader view of where we are versus where we started?
You had it.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Sure.
Oh, you don't know how tempted I am to sing a Hamilton song right now.
I'll keep coming down now.
Look at where we are.
So we were
where you
coming up this western ridge, and about right here where the mouse is when we went off the ridge, and now we're over here on this northern ridge.
You pulled me around there, I think.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll come back.
Where are you? You under?
Yep, I'm just looking fisheye. I'm coming.
Still looking like the steep bed is, it's changed now.
So if you're following along on nautiluslive.org, you can see that our depth...
I'm going to have to back a little bit.
Just keep going down.
Going down.
Yep. So, Kate, what's the ship's current plan? It looks like it's backing up a little bit right now. It's got a little hook in its trajectory there.
Bridge nav. Are you having troubles holding station? Copy. Copy, thank you. Yes, they're having trouble.
Okay. They're not moving. They're not having trouble very fast. I've got 3 beams. Yeah, right. I know. Not to brag or anything.
So, south is the steep part now.
Okay. The ship's taking a little bit of a holiday, Dan.
Yeah, that's why I want to be
here we are
above us.
And just like that, here we are, back on the bottom.
I'm going to stop there.
Yeah, we can do that in just a second. Just let me get something for the Doppler to hold on to.
She doesn't have any autos on, so you can.
Yeah, but it won't hold very well if I keep getting 2 beams. I guess it's 4 now. That sure is a loud return we're getting off of this. Yeah, you can do that reset whenever. It looks like.
Is that because it's steep and?
Yeah, it's going to be the
rough?
like exact same angle as the sonar is putting out sound, and then you get like every little last sound wave comes bouncing back, and it's super loud. And then with all these rocks, they're also very, very good scatterers, very reflective.
So which way is the steepest?
Right. It looks like south.
It is
southeast.
Yeah.
This is the steepest.
And could you zoom out just a bit on nav, on HIPAC? See where maybe we can drop a target, a waypoint.
Okay.
That makes me think of Emil's presentation when he talked about waves.
Yeah, same.
Seamounts.
Yeah, me too.
What happens when they hit at different angles?
Yeah, exactly the same thing.
They would reflect down to the seafloor if they were arriving from the north, because this is very steep.
Thanks so much for joining us, viewers from around the world. We really do appreciate you being here with us, Exploring Live. We're taking your questions on nautiluslive.org, so get those in and we'll get to them as we can. We got a question about squid. Who's up for a squid question?
Always.
What is the largest squid that we've seen?
I think he's talking about his heading.
And would we expect to see giant squid in this area?
I saw some squid at the surface. They were hunting at the surface during night with the lights of the boat. And they looked like they were about 1.5 feet long, or half a meter.
Hey, Nav.
Let me center up better.
Oh, look at that guy.
Nav, if you could drop a target on that that area where it juts out, right there. Yeah, that'd be a good waypoint.
Looks like a crinoid, but I don't know if it is. It looks like a sponge. Yeah, a sponge or a crinoid? Or neither.
It's a sponge.
Not a sponge.
Some
It
type of...
definitely has tentacles. Wow, look at...
It's amazing.
The tentacles are like recurving at the top. They're like going out and then back up.
Crumbly marble.
Okay, good.
It is a favorable move.
So they're coming around. Yeah, it's easier for them to move it in the direction of the bow.
That is amazing.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I'm checking science chat to see if anybody.
Solitary hydroid possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess you know which way the wind's blowing.
Is that our wind or the real wind?
I think that's the real wind.
Yeah, I think it's gorgeous.
No, but we could probably make a move given that he's moving in the direction we want to go. So he's doing kind of directly south 180 right now. I'm going to switch him to 160, and that will just kind of orient us with going up the ridge and kind of what you've found already. Yeah, and if we need to change it, we can adjust his bearing.
It's a tiny little sponge there,
Yep.
left of center.
Ridge, nav.
And if we find any angular rocks, they might
Wow,
not.
look at
Can you
that.
put a move in?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, what it?
There's also something to the
Are
right.
you ready for a
It's
move?
Sponge. Yeah.
That's great. Can
ready
we
when-
move 50 meters bearing 160 at 0.2 knots?
And I think as you pull back, there was something to your right, too, but I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I think it was a stocked crinoid,
Oh,
Might
bottom
be
right.
beneath us at the moment.
oh
it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe
No,
another
that's
one
the
of...
hydroid.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
another one of those.
How stable do you think that slope is?
Not very.
Great place to find some chunky angular rocks, perhaps?
Yes.
Or start an avalanche?
Yeah.
No, I think you're all right. I've never been able to start one that was significant. Did bury one ROV, but yeah, I buried Ropos. We got it back. And just use the winch.
So a viewer is noticing us stirring up some sediments as we move here, and they wonder what's in the sediment and does anything eat it?
We think that we've seen some cucumbers eating it and digesting something on it. And the sediment is made up largely of, because we're so far out away from any continents, it's not clastic material, terrestrial derived clastic material. It's material from organisms that were made here. So if they may make shells like calcium carbonate or limestone shells.
Oh, that is, yeah, those
Yeah.
colors.
It's fantastic. Or
I don't know.
or wind-blown
Possibly.
material that goes up high into the atmosphere, really fine grain, can settle out here. And even we have things, because the sedimentation rate is so low in the pelagic zone out in the abyssal plain, that this is pretty much sediment that was made here by organisms that grew and then are broken apart or lived in the photic zone and died and then came down as marine snow.
I looked at some of the sediment under hand lens in the lab, and it's mostly spherical, like perfectly spherical tests, about like medium sand size grain with some like really fine mud material. But it's largely the tests and then some barnacle shells that we're pulling out.
Did it look like the diatom tests or the foraminifera tests?
I can't remember what
Okay.
those look like, so I don't
Or-
know.
Or coccoliths around?
Oh, okay. These are, I'd have to remember to
Okay.
and look at some of the pictures
Something white
to
above you in
call
Argus.
them out.
Something reflecting light, I should say.
Is it possible to go back to that little thing we were just looking at, Gabby? We want some images of the base, please.
They were totally different colors.
Yeah.
Yeah. It always amazes me how so many things in nature take a shape of a flower.
Or is it the flowers taking the shape of the...
Oh, which came
hydroid.
first, the hydroid or the flower? I'm
Right.
guessing probably the hydroid.
Yes, definitely the hydroid, exactly.
Really?
Yeah, hydroids
yeah.
are around for...
Flowers came
There it
pretty
is.
late.
There's it. One.
It's the one with like the rust red top.
And
Yes.
back up.
Back up a little bit, yeah.
Nice backtracking.
There it is.
Yeah, that was
You
really
just
nice,
gotta
Gabby.
back
Thank
up.
you.
Oh, yeah.
There he is.
Can't believe you found that thing again. That was awesome.
Compliments from both sides.
I could do a bump if you need one. You want the base of it, eh?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's in the sediment, huh?
Yeah, it looks like it's covered in sediment.
Huh.
Some do
Suck
manage to root
back.
themselves in the sediment.
Oh. Huh.
Some sea pens or some hydroids?
Sea pens.
Okay.
Are those one? Is this one that would retract, extend and retract itself?
No, I think that's the tube anemone, the
It's full zoom.
one that extended into the sediment about a meter or so.
Good. Thank
Yep.
you so much.
That is the move that we made. Yeah. The ship is moving as expected.
And when we get to a good position and we don't think we're going to cause an avalanche, if we could, and we see some angular rocks, this would be a good spot.
There are some areas here where it becomes a little less steep. Maybe they would collect there.
Mm-hmm.
A little kid in me so wants to start a giant avalanche.
So normally I don't pull puns from the chat, but I'm going to make an exception in this case because one of our viewers just noted that those are not the droids we're looking for.
That's
Look
cool.
at that
Yeah,
sponge,
that's
yeah.
great.
Nice.
Gotta come up here.
This is fairly well covered, isn't it?
They look connected, yeah.
Yeah.
So almost all of the landscapes we've been seeing on this cruise are volcanic in origin. We did see some carbonate cap on our last dive, but now we're back to what is definitely looking like some pillow lavas.
There's an eel. Oh, he went away.
It just zipped in and out.
Mm-hmm.
So these pillow lavas, would they have been shiny
I'm
and
going to keep the
smooth
ship moving.
when they first formed?
They might have some glass on them, but they would be,
Bridge, no?
it would be hot and
make that
steaming
move
and
again?
gaseous underneath. You can see
50
images of them on the
meters, bearing
internet as
160.
erupting lava under the water, and then they kind of expand out almost like a bubble. And but the edges of them can be quenched or cooled really fast, and if they cool too fast, they don't make crystals. They actually, because they don't have the time to basically reach a crystalline structure. Instead, they just make a glass. And that glass usually alters more quickly than crystals do, and so it can recrystallize into something else, like a clay, and easily be removed from the rock.
So the texture that we're seeing on the rocks is the manganese crust then, the kind of bubbles on bubbles on bubbles?
Yeah, so a lot of it is the manganese crust, so the precipitate of manganese.
It's like we got a seat swap in the front row there. I'm still waiting for them to ask me to come fly one of the ROVs, but for now I'm still sticking to the back row. We got Dan on Herc and Gabby on Argus now. Just in time for a question about the tether. What's going down? Is it power and data? And what's coming back up? Is it just data? So what's the flow in the tether?
I'm going to move a little faster here, unless you guys.
Yeah.
Yep. Go for it.
If you see anything you want to stop, you'll have to shout. So
great.
I'm not gonna.
Roger.
Okay.
There's a bunch of things going on, bunch of physics happening in both directions. So there is data going in two ways via fiber optics. There is power, AC power, going at, I think, 2,800 volts down to the vehicles to power them, so they don't need to carry batteries with them. And so we control the vehicles and get the video feeds over the fiber optics. And we power the hydraulics, which propel the vehicles using the high voltage. How's that?
Yeah, that was great. Thanks. Great question. So if you're following along on our website, nautiluslive.org, you can see our depth is about 1,900 meters. And it's cold down there. It's 2.2 degrees C, 36 degrees F. If you love data, you can also click on more data there and see our full Grafana data that's coming in, which has as many numbers and graphs as a person could hope for.
It comes sideways a little while we're waiting for Argus there.
Do you mind if I follow you, Dan?
Yeah, please do. Do you use the screen there that I always hog?
The which?
Do you use that one when I notice you tend to look at the big screens?
I always look up because when I'm sitting in that seat, it cuts off the bottom of the image, the monitor. Oh, you're a little bit taller than me, so that's probably the difference. And it really, actually, like I use the bottom of the screen a lot. And
that's a big sponge there.
So I'll go back the other way now.
Seen bigger.
Okay.
It's a nice one, though.
Yeah.
We've seen some amazingly big sponges on this expedition.
Yeah.
1.5 meters across.
So we got a question about the sediment that we were talking about a bit ago. You mentioned that the sediment is organic, but some of that organic material is not necessarily edible by a lot of critters, right? Like some of it is coral skeletons and shells and other things like that.
That's right. So a lot of it is organically derived. So organisms that make their shells. So they make calcium carbonate shells. They make silica-based shells. And so those aren't easily edible as nutrition for a lot of organisms.
Yeah, that's why we don't see a lot of fish life down here. We see some scavengers, eel-like fish, but there's not a thick layer of sediment and not a very nutritious layer of sediment. So so you don't have a lot of invertebrates down there. Hence, not a lot of crustaceans or fish.
So those sea cucumbers just kind of go along and eat it all up, but most of it they're not able to process, and it just, as we say, passes through. They're just passing through.
They apparently get enough for themselves. Some of them look pretty healthy.
Oh, I also want to give a shout out to some viewers that are chiming in on the chat that 2.2 degrees C is a heat wave compared to where they are. So Maine, Detroit, sorry to hear that, friends. Hopefully we got warmer weather ahead for you. Topside here, we've had beautiful weather, not to brag, not to make you jealous, but we are doing great here in Papahanaumokuakea Marine Monument, west of Hawaii.
Tropical holiday season.
Back row, you guys all right if we pick up the ship speed a little bit?
Absolutely.
It's the same temperature there as it is at my home right now.
Yeah, we'll ascend as quickly as you're comfortable with.
Roger that.
Yeah, to clarify, those temperatures are at depth, not at the surface. We are doing fine here on the ship.
And it's really amazing. It looks like we'll have just enough time to get all of our dives in planned for this expedition before the weather turns on us and stirs up the seas.
You want to, I haven't strafed the gauges lately.
Yeah, that's exactly what
you
I'm
can
up
just
to.
strafe through them real quick.
Good thing we've been working really hard all this time trying to get stack in one dive right after the other. It's lucky that we didn't have to stretch it out and lose one of those.
Yeah, Chris did a great job of finding a way to visit almost all of the seamounts in the chain.
Yeah, some of them more than once and at different angles of inclination to what we think is the oscillating tidal waves coming off the Hawaiian ridge. Though I don't think that was the intended reason. We just knew we were trying to do the whole 360 azimuth as much as we could.
Great question from a viewer about the samples that we are collecting. After we've completed our studies on these samples, what happens to them?
Is that the...
Completed studies on the ship?
No, I think like completed.
He dialed in the 160 though?
I think I know, but I could be totally wrong, so Emil may have to correct me on this. But I believe that they are mostly housed back at the museum and repositories that they go to initially. Scientists will request them from there, use what they need.
It's the biological samples.
Biological samples.
They go to the Harvard Museum of Comparative Zoology.
And the rock samples go to the Rhode Island Rock Repository.
Right.
Say again?
And if, like Andrea, when you request
we are
a
bouncing
rock
around with the
from the
USBL
repository
right now
to do your studies,
out in front more.
Do you need to send any material back or data back?
So data that we create is usually just made generally available upon publication and remains available after that. And then the rock sample, if it's not used, it should go back to the repository where other scientists can request samples that if they want to do further research on them. Oh, we have some more of these.
Looks like goalposts.
Yeah, these satellite dish sponges. I think they are a type of paragord. What are they? What are they? A type of
Poliopogon?
Yeah, Poliopogon.
So
look at that giant anemone up there.
Yeah, it looks like another Venus flytrap. We are collecting all of our samples under a special permit from Papahanaumokuakea Marine Monument. No extractive processes are allowed in the monument for things like fishing or drilling or mining. That is not allowed within the monument's waters. And so we are operating under a scientific and research permit that dictates how many and which types of samples we are permitted to take on each dive, and how we have to treat those samples. And I believe, according to the permit, if we do work with these samples and decide that the scientific value has been gained, the scientific knowledge, then there is a protocol for returning any samples which are safe to return to the monument.
Hey,
Yeah, we're
Close
getting into
stretch.
some stuff.
getting some happy sponges up here.
Yeah, 1800.
Some off to the right as well.
We will continue diving on this expedition as long as conditions allow, and we will head back to Honolulu,
You're just pulling me a bit.
I believe, on the 2nd or 3rd.
Okay, that's a deal. Don't be sorry. Stuff your sorries in a sack.
That's right.
Let's say you're talking about our arrival in Honolulu?
Yeah.
The 6th.
Yeah, so we arrive back in Honolulu the 6th. We turn around and get some more new crew. Some of us will be leaving, and then the next expedition will launch a day or two later. You can continue to follow for all updates on nautiluslive.org.
I know Gabby and I will be on the 12 to 4 watch the next expedition. Not sure who else is going to be around.
Kate will be on our watch.
Kate, nice.
Yes, I will. Same time, same place.
See you there.
We'll have a new Dan. He will be named Josh.
Oh. I will not be on the next expedition unless I manage to stow away, which I intend to try.
Nav, let's just drop a target there for sponges.
Copy.
Thanks.
How's the current feeling, pilots?
Sorry, it wasn't necessary for me to give you that much delta. I got overzealous with the delta.
Are you guys
There's no
feeling
need.
any strong currents here? Dan?
We can't
If
hear
you're
you if you're talking to us.
We're not hearing you.
Sorry, I'll let go of it for a minute and see what happens.
The drift test.
Yeah, drift test.
You are a leaf on the wind.
It's not immediately dramatic.
Okay. May have been a little bit different up higher, but...
Yeah, that little feature over to the west there, it's unfortunately diverges from our current. We could stop the ship and jump him over if you want to.
That's exactly what I want to do. Just move kind of directly west.
Yeah.
What do you think, Emma?
Ridge, Nav?
That little promontory here?
I guess.
Yeah, the little promontory is just out of our reach, so
1 sec.
Sure.
if we step the ship over, we can chase that up.
Ridge, Nav.
Maybe.
Sorry about that. Can we please move 30 meters, bearing 270? Thank you.
Is your altitude good enough to go par on the delta?
Yep. I've got 23.
You'll have to Probably come down close to par there.
Lovely little sponge and coral garden we're seeing here.
Mm-hmm. Looks like it continues up this ridge.
Oh
he's
yeah,
definitely
really big.
got
Mm-hmm.
his thrusters hard. Our current speed has increased by 0.8 knots, or yeah, 0.8 knots on the surface, and our wind's been up a couple knots.
The sponges love that boulder.
Yeah,
Everyone's struggling to make
this
its
ridge
moves.
looks a little bit more productive than the other one.
Yeah.
It's meant to be.
Am I pulling
That's
on
right.
you there, Gabby?
Meant to be.
Yes, you are. We're tail to tail.
Stephen always
Are we
has the
tailed
best
so I can
attitude.
pull harder?
Yeah, go for it. Pull as
Roger.
hard as you need to.
So we want to say aloha and mahalo to our viewers in Hawaii. We're getting some chats from them. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. Also, if there are any educators in Hawaii who are still interested in live ship to shore with their students, we do have
Dan,
some.
there's a feature in between the two of us now that you can see in, Oh, no, it's not
I
in
don't
between
see
us.
it.
It's on the other side of her. We're
Yeah.
good.
This is a nice feature to square up on, though, and get some nice
Yeah, we might
screen
want to.
captures, and
Roger.
maybe go around the other side if possible.
Not possible at the moment. We're tail to tail and I'm dragging Argus over here. But
Roger.
if we get the ship over here, we can.
Really nice.
Can you tell what's on that, one of those polyopogon sponges up there? If it's a crab or a sea star?
It's like a sea
Where?
star. The one in
It's
the
on
middle.
one of the smaller ones.
Yeah,
White.
just left of the biggest sponge on the top.
See
Yeah.
one cup coral down
Okay.
low.
I don't see the cup coral.
Just went out of frame.
Dan, I'm
Oh,
going to come up
there it
just
is.
a little
Oh,
bit.
I saw it, yeah.
Hopefully it won't
You're
pull on you
right.
too much.
No, you need to come down, man.
Chrysogorgia on
Down
top.
5 meters. 4 meters.
Okay. Coming down.
The pattern in that, the biggest sponge there is just amazing.
Yeah.
It looks quite different
Yeah.
than the other ones. So if there are any educators, especially in Hawaii, who have time for an afternoon ship to shore with your classroom, you can find more information about that.
He's actually going the way we want now, so.
It's good.
So, Dan, are you okay with what's with the hill inside of the 20 on there on
yeah,
Argus?
Yeah. We know it's there.
Okay.
It's pretty benign between us because I just flew across there.
Just go to our website, nautiluslive.org, and click on education. And if we can fit you in, especially in the afternoons, Hawaii time, we will do so. Our morning times are pretty full.
A nice rock sample.
Yeah, that would be a nice rock
Can we
sample.
collect this rock?
We
Yeah.
might
Big
get
eel
some
flying over.
additional
Oh, we got
biological.
Ooh,
nice
nice
big
eel,
eel.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know if he would fit in the starboard big bio box.
How about
But-
the porch?
If anybody can do it, I think it would be Dan.
There's 2 eels.
Yeah, there's 2 of them.
Chris would like all the bonuses that come with it.
Yeah.
What's that?
The largest rock we've collected so far weighed
No,
53
I'm sorry.
pounds.
Pull target on it.
And
Yes, please.
this one probably is,
We want to play
Hundreds
around
of
here on
times
this
that.
ridge, I think. There's lots of stuff
oh, there's
to look
another
at,
little
so.
guy
Yeah.
holding position in the water column there.
Yeah, whatever you need, any ship movements you need to stick around here.
Yeah, Kate's on it. We're trying to get Argus over Herc here.
It's great.
So
It's a good spot.
viewer
the
question
moment
about
I'm-
how long does it take a sponge to get this large?
At the moment, I can go left or right, forward or back, but that's about it.
Okay.
Try and go left here a bit, see what happens.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
A long
it'll
time.
take a minute there.
I don't think that it is
Hundreds of
understood
years, I would
exactly how
guess.
long.
At these depths where nutrition and oxygen and temperature all tend to be pretty low, most organisms are pretty slow growing. We have a better idea for corals than for sponges, it seems, but both can be really difficult to date.
We're kind of paying for the half a knot there, Kate, because we get more of a layback.
Yeah, I see.
And then it takes longer for it to swing in. So
That makes perfect sense.
it's always a trade-off.
Let's drop a target here, sponge rock.
Roger.
I really want to go down that hill.
Are you able to swivel around?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
Still, you can... I don't know if you can make it out from there.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you kind of stretched out.
Yeah, we're definitely stretched out. We're tail to tail for... Gabby can come down a little bit more, though. She's actually uphill from me right now, so looks like. Yeah. Keep it double digits.
Well, it looks like all these sponges are aligned in generally the same direction. They're facing away from us, so I would imagine that's where the current is coming from. Do you feel that too, Dan?
I can't tell at the moment. We're using all of our beans to pull Argus in the direction we want to go, just to get here. It's starting to go where we want it to go.
Yeah.
These are actually facing almost, some are almost facing Herc. So we got both directions represented here.
Oh, I see. You think those two right in front of us are facing us?
The one on top is almost facing Herc.
Zoom in there, Steve, while we're waiting. Let's do some. Fly the camera since we can't fly the ROV at the moment.
That is the cutest little squat lobster I have ever seen.
Looks like he's doing some Christmas decorating.
Yeah.
And I think I love him.
He is quite festive. He's like, hey, look at me. I'm up here too.
It's full zoom.
Roger.
So we got another brand new viewer joining us and checking in on the chat with a question about oxygen concentration in the water at this depth. That information is available if you go to nautiluslive.org and click on more data in the bar on the right. You can see
Oh yeah, 20 meters.
all the data you would ever want.
I did it right that time.
Good.
Usually I mess that all up.
Huh?
Usually I get that all messed up.
I've perfected working this with my left hand. I'm very proud of myself.
You need a trackball there. Okay, Steve, zoom out for a second. We'll pan around.
And the current oxygen saturation is 15.7%.
Getting more altitude there as it swings in, or?
I'm going to move maybe another 10 meters that direction.
Yeah, put Argus right over in the top of her.
Bridge, Nev. Can we move 15 meters bearing 300?
You got enough to swing around now, do you got me? Or? Maybe. Okay, Steve, zoom out for us. Thank you.
So those Christmas decorations were hydroids.
Mm.
The squat lobster was holding on to.
So a hydroid on a sponge.
With a squat lobster.
With a squat lobster.
I'm pretty sure I had that in the clue game that we played the other day. It was the hydroid on the sponge with the squat lobster.
Go either way.
All on the rock, I would like to add.
Okay, I'm going to zip back down to where we started and come up the other side of these sponge rocks here.
So we got a question about dating those sponges. Why can't we use radiometric dating to figure out how old the sponges and corals are? Or maybe we can.
So the corals for aragonite, we can use uranium series dating to date some of them up to about, well, 500,000 years. And we can use calcium carbonate, radiocarbon dating on calcium carbonate. One of the issues is we don't know here in these organisms if where we're seeing the oldest material of the organism and if it remains, so that at the base of the coral, is that a true indicator of basically the time of its birth? Would be one of the issues. And so the organism would have to make either of those things to give it a chance of being datable. For radiocarbon dating, you can only go to as old as 50,000 years. But I don't think these organisms will go longer than those time scales. But, you know, we've been surprised a million times. I think this side is probably facing the current.
Yeah.
We had a dive that with a feature in it that we called Coral Canyon, and I think we could call this Sponge Ridge.
3 meters down.
This is a nice shot.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
This is the side we wanted to be on. Yeah.
So it's
that largest one has such a more open structure than the smaller ones, it seems. I don't know if that's just because it's older or if it's a different species.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it looks like it would be a different species, but I am no sponge expert.
I agree.
You still call it an osculum when he's got a big hooded cape kind of thing there?
I don't know.
We get some lasers off shots of this as well?
I call this a 4, Kim.
I did, yeah.
Good.
I did.
We're calibrated.
No one liked my name catching on, Sponge Ridge, as we came from coral.
Ridge. It's more
Well,
like
we haven't backed out yet. You see all the rocks aligned along a ridge. Didn't even give it a chance, man.
I suppose everything depends on scale.
It is a ridge.
Anything you want to see close up here, or do you want to see back out and see those lined up rocks?
I'd like to see those lined up rocks, give us a good image.
Roger.
Just because it's supporting evidence for their relationship with a mean current direction.
You can turn those lasers back on whenever you like. Thank you for that.
You can move the ship one more time, try and put it over Herc again.
Yeah, let's do it. Bridge, Neff.
Just put it on the downhill side of us there. Be great.
Can we move 20 meters bearing 300?
See See, I lost the plot. It should be more, all those rocks. I need to look uphill.
This is definitely a sponge-friendly rock. 'Cause that is not just one species, right? Seeing a lot of different species like that rock.
It's to my right, isn't it? Where all the other ones were? It's gotta be.
I don't know if it was up or to your right.
Yeah, I thought it was up. But lost when I spun around there.
Was it actually on a ridge, a topographic ridge?
Yeah, there's kind of a,
So
we're looking back up the hill now, so
let me
Argus
see.
is still looking down the hill. Yeah, there's the other one
I
there.
think it's to your, is it
Well,
directly to your south?
Yeah, southeast is going to be uphill, right?
There we go.
There's an anglerfish on the bottom of frame.
Where?
Oh,
Oh, I
there, little
see
tiny
him.
one.
Yeah, he's a little lover.
I don't see him. Where the,
Yeah,
Oh,
we
he's
passed
gone.
it.
Back a little bit. Yeah, if you swing to the right there, we might be able to see him again.
Yeah, he's shy.
Yeah, there he
Right
is.
There
Oh,
he
bottom right.
is.
Bottom
Oh.
right-hand corner.
see him, I see him.
And we can always count on
Right.
Steven. He always picks it.
We're getting a viewer suggestion to call this sponge henge.
There you go.
I like
That's a
that.
good one.
Henge.
Oh, look at
is.
him.
Sponge henge.
Oh,
I like it.
Look at him.
This is a Chaunacops coloratus. And that is a beauty little guy.
Also known as a cutie patootie.
Oh,
Also
cutie
known as a cutie
patootie.
patootie.
I touched too hard and he sensed the vehicle.
And he said later.
Made him angry.
Is that the candelabra coral?
Yeah, that's a great shot.
Hard to tell.
Okay.
So are we ready to keep climbing?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, should we just move directly south to follow this kind of steep feature? Or that's the
I would
direction
say
we need to
if
move?
you could zoom out a bit, I think we could head towards that waypoint
Okay.
to get us back over towards the main ridge.
All right, sounds good. That means we need to go bearing 130 to make it up
Ooh.
to...
Big
Look
old
at that
sponge.
big one off to the right.
Yep.
Yeah, 130 should work for a while.
All righty. One, 3, 5. Bridge, nav. Can we move 50 meters bearing 135?
It's full lateral there. It's taken me a minute to get there. The ROV seems to move left much faster than it moves right. Why is that? The ROV seems to move left much faster than it moves right. Why is that?
Is that the current?
Yeah. No, it's the way the breeze is blowing there. Can you come down 6? Just getting a tug there.
We got a Herc pilot Will checking in on the chat. Hi, Will. Thanks for being with us here today. Also, someone asking on the chat, is cutie patootie, is that a scientific term?
Yes.
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 Yes,
No.
affirmative. For something that steals your heart.
I think it's the family name, right?
Yes.
Family name.
So we have a scientist ashore reminding us that when that squat lobster is holding those pincers open, it's patiently hunting for a midwater fish.
Wow.
And they sense it possibly with vibrations sensed by its antennae,
So
possibly also by bioluminescence.
Wow.
Argus is jumping around, but we know the trends.
I'll get back in the box here, so.
Yeah, I think it's just we're on
Gabby can
two
keep
sides
an
of
eye
this
on us.
feature.
Yeah.
I have a follow-up question about that squat lobster hunting business and wonder if they're also scavenging, if they'll kind of eat anything that comes along, or if they need it to be alive to be able to sense it in this environment where there's no light. So we'll.
Is that a double-headed sponge right ahead of
Sure
us?
looks like it.
Or is
Very,
it?
really unusual.
Come
Yeah.
down a bit more.
Let's get a zoom on that if you can.
Wow.
Yeah, it can do.
It looks like
Come right down to.
A branching sponge, is there such a thing?
Take a look. I haven't seen one like that. Huh.
What is
whoa.
it?
That one is not
Interesting
one we've
stalk,
seen
too.
before. Yeah, the interesting stalk. Or so, oh, those are crinoids.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
It's occupied by a whole bunch of crinoids.
Could it be sponges growing off of an old coral?
I mean, I guess it,
No,
yeah.
Can you get any closer on the stalk there? It does look like there are little
Oh, yeah, we can get closer.
nodules. Oh no, that's just debris.
Very interesting.
it's got to be the sponge stalk.
The crinoids love it. And a shrimp on a crinoid.
Going for a ride.
Going for a ride.
Oh, maybe the top branch was the main branch and the lower one is a sponge growing on a sponge. See how there's like a little connection there? Looks like there's a line between the lower branch and the upper branch.
Maybe they're twins.
Maybe.
Very interesting.
Bridge nav. Can we move 100 meters bearing 135?
Cool.
I've never seen anything like that.
I'm not seeing any two-headed sponges in the guide.
Definitely not connected there, huh?
You good with that one, Emily? You want another angle of the dangle there? Or
I'll
Maybe the connection.
get a 90 out shot just for the.
yeah, I'm gonna stop
Archives.
down below and see if I can find Chris. See if he's interested in this one.
So if we can hold position here,
Can do.
I think we're
Other
going on a,
stuff to look at around here too.
yeah,
So
Emil's going on a ship scout out.
Can we hold position?
So there are
Thank
some
you.
sponges that I'm seeing that do branch, but I don't see any that just have two branches.
Mm-hmm.
zoom in there, Steve. Not full zoom, but-
Chondrocladia.
And does it look like this one? I couldn't tell by.
No, but
The
it
image.
doesn't look the same, but it's as close as I got here. Going to the Okeanos Animal Guide to see what else is going on there. If you hear us talking about the Okeanos Guide, you can find that just by Googling Okeanos Animal Guide. It's what us non-biologists are using to try to visually look at these species and figure out what we're looking at. Sometimes we get close, and sometimes we hear on Science Chat that we are worlds apart.
Can we get lasers off, please?
For some glamour shots.